welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com Broiler Chicken Show. Trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Broiler Chicken Show. Back. When Lamborghini, Constantine posts, well, geez, there's some Lamborghinis being made. There's one Lamborghini that's driving away that has Chris's name on it, and he's like, "Excuse me, you're leaving me behind. What are you doing?" But I've got about 10 of them, so it's about it's everybody. It happens to the best of us, but anyway. Sure hope you guys are enjoying this altcoin rally. Man, what a market. Holy moly. Things are popping. And I suppose that maybe it's a little overdue. We've been sitting here in the poop now for, geez, what is it? It's been about a year and a half of basically doing nothing here, just waiting. So finally, the market's come alive. And actually, we just had somebody who just joined, and I said, wow, good timing. Way to go. I've been, and maybe somebody over there on the YouTube page, for people who do watch this afterward and later on, you can just attest to it. I don't know whether the chat actually plays back when people watch the video after the fact. I don't think it does, but anyway, what's that? Oh yeah, okay. Well, maybe you can all attest to this. Anybody who is going to be watching this video. Have I not been barking to every single video? Get your shit together. Get your act together. Get your plan together. Get your money together. Start doing your research. Find out the names that you want to participate in and get going. Have I not been saying that for like literally the past 6 months? I mean, somebody give me some feedback here over on YouTube. I see there's about 20 people over there. It was weird, actually. Just before we got the video going, it said there was like 30 plus people, and then all of a sudden it just dropped off. Andre says, you have been saying that closer to a year. Thank you. Well, good. I mean, the point here, yes, I can confirm. Thank you. So the point is that you can't make the argument that we haven't been given plenty of notice. And the problem now is public's going to come in and see something like a link and go, well, I guess it's a good buy at $16. And, oh, Jesus, they're just asking for trouble. I suppose I hate to say it, it's probably the same thing as saying that Bitcoin's a good buy at like 30, 40 grand, which I've said repeatedly I don't really believe. But at the same time, too, you can't stop people spending their money. They will spend their money when they spend their money. DMAX says, I can confirm as well, been ranting for the last 15 months. Well, he's been ranting forever, right, DMAC? In fact, I'm ranting right now. So, and Josh is posting fun pictures. There you go. Bags officially packed. I like that. That's good. Man, if you actually did this, and I know one guy on the site, he literally owns everything in crypto. And actually, we've got I don't know what it is. I think it's the people from Romania. They are smart as whips when it comes to this crypto stuff. And they have just been loading up. And one guy that I think the world of, in fact, actually, he helped me buy a couple names yesterday in our fun little Saturday meetings. He's gonna be, God, so rich at the end of this damn run. It's not even funny. And I sure hope that's the case for all of you, because number one, this stuff is so insanely cliche, it's ridiculous. Number two, they've actually built into this whole crypto space a cycling period. So you can like literally set your watch to it. I've told all of you, I've put tons of tweets out, 6 months before the next halving event, you got to get your act together and you got to get ready and you got to start accumulating and you got to start doing your fundamental research. You got to start figuring out what names you want to participate in and get ready to rock and roll. Um, and I think a lot of TRIers have bought into that. This weekend show is theoretically supposed to sort of dovetail with the level 1 program, and unfortunately our level 1 instructor has come down ill. I hope he hasn't got the C nonsense. I don't even know what you're supposed to call it without getting like demonetized, although I swear so much I probably am already on the perma demonetized. In fact, I haven't even seen that. Chris, have we seen anything from Google about the, we're supposed to put in secret codes and stuff to get monetization back? Did anything ever happen of that? It was like months ago we talked about that. So frustrating. Maybe you can put a note to just PM. Maybe while we're doing this video, just PM Julian. Brian's going on a rant about how we're not doing these code things. What's going on? Something, anyway, I used to really love it when you guys used to throw me Rons, good old Romanian currency. And I must have like a stack of like 5 million RON somewhere. I'm sure when Google demonetizes you, they go, "Oh, thank you very much for your contribution to Google. We're not going to make our earnings numbers this quarter, but your contribution is going to help a lot." Jerks. Anyway, be interesting to see what happened to all those dollars. Anyway, there you go. So we're starting off on a nice ranty note for Mr. DMAC. He loves my rants, if I understand correctly, especially when I interrupt like really solid analysts and stuff that we come on our shows and don't let them get a word in edgewise. DMAC loves that, right, sir? Arr, arr, arr. All right. All right. So what do we got here? Glass Insight says that's what happens when BTC is uppy, more viewers, more students in the classroom too. Well, I mean, the good part about it is we absolutely we teach the process backwards. I mean, I don't think you can find a better place, especially within the crypto verse, to learn the process of running a small business of trading. I see, and the worst part about it is I see like sites that have like million followers and stuff like that, and they've got their trading courses, and they'll teach you maybe like one setup, or they'll teach you well, actually this fundamental within this space works well and all that kind of stuff. But I've never seen anybody go to the depths of teaching you how to build a plan, how to get in touch with your own personal personality, what kind of risk taker you are. So by definition, that defines like what kind of market participant you are, and all that. Absolutely love it. And if anything, shameless plug, might as well. It is that about that time of year. The gang has put together a whole brand new sort of front end. I don't know whether you want to call it promotion or advertising for the site, but I think they've done a very, very good job of sort of, I don't know what would be the appropriate term, highlighting, I don't know, the various different features of the site. And I think probably the most important thing here is we're a community. We all work together. And I've been at the investment game here now for 35 years. So I think I have a pretty good idea how to distill all of this sort of process into a digestible program that basically takes you from not knowing anything to being basically a full-time asset manager, investor, trader, whatever you feel like you want to be. So if you have a moment, pop on over to rationalinvestor.com. This is our sort of front facing. And as I said, it's got all of our different sort of products and services that we offer. So you can learn a little bit more about us. And we also have, we should have like a Black Friday deal kind of stuff coming up here. Of course, all the site veterans, they got an absolutely fantastic deal on our dashboard product. The dashboard, I think, is doing so well that we've decided to increase the cost of it. So all vets on the site got an old pricing, so they were pretty lucky. But even the new pricing model for this Black Friday deal will do a bit of a discount. So I should have some sort of page for that Black Friday promotion. And then really where I'm going at with this is if you're relatively new to this space, you see Bitcoin popping up, you see the altcoins popping up, and you want to like sort of learn. We've got our new school term will start in January. Current school term is about, I guess, 2/3 of the way through. I'm actually teaching myself the level 3 program this term. And we have 4 different levels from very, very basic level 1, learning how to build a plan, trying to figure out what type of risk taker you are, all that kind of fun stuff. To all the way up to our level 4 program with Zach, our options whiz, teaching everybody how to be an option spread trader. And actually, this just yesterday, he did non-directional spread trades. So super exciting stuff. So anyway, the point of the matter here is we go from basically nothing to being an absolute consummate professional investor in our education programs. And something as simple as this is actually the most basic of trading plans. And we are now into the window. We're doing crazy things like taking $500 and turning it into hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions of dollars, is actually, believe it or not, it's actually realistic. But the problem is there's 2 words that you absolutely can't do in this space to try and do this. And unfortunately, nobody in the public has told this. But we've had here's a good example. Look at this guy taking off here. This is another one of Sjord's incredible names, but actually this RUNE's a really good example. So, I have a simple rule, and those 2 rules, by the way, are and actually I suppose there are 3, but we'll distill it down. You are not allowed to chase. You just can't chase. Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. You just can't do it. So there's no way in hell you can be a buyer up here. And look at that. They already know the answers. So good job, guys. If I did want to be a buyer of this name, well, you can see exactly where I'd want to buy reload zones, previous bullish market structure, look left. Where did the bears get stopped previously and bulls stepped up and turned this market back up? So I could justify investing in a name like this around $1.40, $1.50. There's no way in hell I can buy that at $5.30. I just can't do it. And unfortunately, a lot of the public, what you have to understand, and I don't know whether a lot of people watching this video even know this, but most of the time, like when people are interested in investing, they'll actually go to something like, I'll just use this as an example. These guys are perfectly fine. They're nice people. I'm not picking on them or anything. Look at this. Now live to 2023 Q3 crypto industry report. Right? All right, I got to get the fundamentals and I'm going to know what's hot and what's not and all blah, 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 blah. I don't know whether these are really going to, tell you, hey, you know what, this is what you should buy and all that kind of stuff. But actually, most people just limit their research to this. In fact, actually, I was even tweeting out, I think, believe it or not, if you want my opinion for whatever the hell that's worth, I think that we are actually right back in this environment. So, and actually this, if you are a crypto OG, if you have any idea who the heck this guy is, and I don't even know whether the video even plays on the YouTube video, but I believe we are back into this world. So, there's his eyes. It'd be interesting to see where he is in the world now. you can even, when you watch this video, even while he's going through it, he's kind of like, and really, I know exactly what it is, and it was Coin Market Cap, right? Of course, they can't use Coin Market Cap. Well, I suppose you could, but it's owned by CZ now, so I'm sure it's slightly biased. But um, all he's doing is he's just going, oh, Ethereum's up, down 1%, down 2%, up there. I mean, how are you supposed to tell? Yeah, thank you, Josh. But how are you supposed to tell whether this is actually even a half decent investment idea, just based off of this kind of screen? And this is where probably 90% of most quote unquote investors finish their research. It's just, all right, well, actually, hey, look at this Caspa. That looks kind of cool. Look at that. It's down 2.3%. Ooh, what's this? It's up 37%, whatever. And that's where they sort of finish their research. So if you do get to the point where you can actually work with price charts and you can start understanding, probably, and actually this might be a fun way to interact with the public and give sort of some value right out of the gate here. But we have 3 rules of investing when it comes to actually pulling the trigger and actually buying something. So we'll say 3 rules to justify spending your hard-earned money. Remember, it's your money, and once it's spent, there ain't no going back. So who can tell me what is rule number 1? And I would strongly suggest that all of you follow this this logic pattern, because it's going to prevent you from doing stupid things like chasing. So JB says location. MM says close. Here it is. All right. Okay, so you guys are spitting stuff out. Yeah. Chris, you got Cotter in on that damn Bitcoin. Cotter, you should donate some profits then right back to Chris. Because
Yeah, no need. It's okay. It's just part of the game, I guess. Congratulations to anybody that did get a triple on Banker BNT.
yeah, I mean, well, and it's the same thing, right? But anyway, let's stay on task here. We'll use this rune as an example. So, what is rule number 1? And really keep it as simple as possible. What like the people that play the real estate game. You did. And it's not me, Cotter. This is just karma. This is between you and Chris. This has nothing to do with TRI. Chris gave you the idea. What you do with that karma, that's up to you. It's TRI is just the middleman in all of this. Rule number 1, right? The most important. And if you, of course, if you're just watching this for the first time and you stumble upon this guy, what the hell is this guy going on about? But anyway, 3 rules to try and just keep you out of trouble. And rule number 1 is always location, 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 location. And think, what are the 3 words words in real estate investment, right? That's the easy way to remember this. So, if we just finish the conversation at that, which a lot of times when it comes to investing, you can, I mean, is that a good trade location? That's a horrible trade location. I mean, in this game, you want to try and buy low and sell high. You don't want to do it the other way around. Because quite often, if you buy high, you're going to end up going through a world of pain. And then you end up like 6 months later, the market's calmed down and everything's settled down. And, nobody's interested in crypto anymore. And it's really boring, or some stupid government officials come out and said something horrific. It's got everybody all freaked out, and so they're panic selling, and you end up like 90% of the public buying high and selling low. That's the way the public usually gets screwed out of their hard-earned money. So let's try and make sure that you do the exact opposite. And what this usually means is you have to basically buy when nobody else is interested, because that's usually how price gets cheap. Nobody's interested, nobody's buying, people are getting bored, and they're selling what they have, or some big FUD is being injected in the market and they're selling out of panic. What's rule number two? Rule number two is, I think it's a good idea that you look down at your indicators. And they could be things like price or even a volume, or things like volatility, right? You look at your indicators, and your indicators are actually confirming what you're thinking. I call it indicator confirmation. And here, the absolute best scenario, if you're thinking about buying, is what we want to see is what's called a bullish divergence from your indicators. And keep in mind, in our education program, confirm, what did I say here? Confirm, I'm a terrible speller. Confirmation, I'll say something like that. And we teach all of this, various different topics in our education program. So, if you're like, I don't know what the fuck a bullish divergence is, well, if you want to get taught formally, feel free to join our education program. And then finally, we would like to see what's, what we call price structure. And what we mean by that, just to keep it as simple as possible, is W's are bullish and M's are bearish. There are a number of different types of price structure. There can be things like candlestick patterns. There can be things like fractals and stuff. So it's not really like anything sort of written in stone when it comes to price structure. But you have to figure out a price structure that works for you, that you're like, oh my God, I absolutely love when I see bullish haramis. Oh my God, I live for key reversals. Oh my God, W's. If I see a W within a W, oh my God, I start creaming my pants, or whatever, something along those lines. But I would strongly suggest you take screenshots of this. And the irony of it all is, if we pull up our indicators, you should all be able to actually tell me exactly where this thing was acceptable to buy. Do we have any previous? Oh, there we go. Yeah. So we can even draw, we won't talk price targets. We'll just talk justification to buy. Let's flip this around. All right. So, I mean, the interesting thing with crypto being venture capital, I'm liking more and more over time that you have to force yourself to wait for the venture capital reload zone, which I think is more like sort of 78.6 to 88.6. But ironically enough, even if we include things like 61.8 of the entire range here, and I don't even know if that's the bottom, but we'll use that for this. I think you can make the argument anytime you're at or below reload zones, you're in relatively okay trade location. I just, do we have indicator confirmation here? No, I mean, hell, an indicator that we teach you about in the level 1 course that I built specifically to keep me out of trouble, called the Williams percentage R indicator, and it's highly modified. I call it the Willy indicator. When this yellow line on the Willy indicator is up in this zone up here, it means you've missed the trade. It's gone. So, you might argue, looking at this whole image, well, if it's at or below this green box, I can buy. I might even argue, okay, fine, let it go down into that area, then look for indicator confirmation. So, maybe you might argue, okay, well, I avoided chasing here, avoided chasing here. I let the market settle down. Now, can you please show me indicator confirmation? I'm a big fan of MACD divergences as indicator confirmation. Just looking at this, you can see that there's a nice W that comes in right there. And that W is confirmed on that event right there. So the question would be, do we have signs of bullish divergence when that happens? So let's pull up, we'll go right there like that. And then let's pull up the price chart. And you see that, wow, MACD indicator was breaking out to new highs, higher highs and higher lows. That's what I should say. You can see my Willy indicator, actually the yellow line was in the oversold camp. Call that stupidly oversold. Love that. And you look at price and you can see price is making lower lows, right? So that is technically a bullish divergence. And then finally, price structure, W's are bullish, M's are bearish. So hopefully you all look at this and go, well, you know what? This sure looks like a big fat W. Down, up, down, breakout. So based on this image, if you followed those 3 rules, then hopefully you see it's pretty obvious exactly where you should be long. And the problem here is that, what is that price? I mean, just eyeballing it. That looks to be $1.10. So here we are at $5.30. Can I buy this here? No. And hopefully you can understand now the logic of this process. So maybe take a screenshot. Now, the interesting thing about this is that if this thing actually does start Wing out at the bottom of the range, bullish indicator confirmations, blah, 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 then we can start thinking about bullish objectives and things like upside targets. We'll start off with Colin and his dump chasers. This is a concept that we teach in our level 1 program, the 38.2 as the first stop target. It always should be your target. Initial bounce, I call this a dead cat bounce. We had a gentleman on the site. He was an advisor over on another site now, Colin. And he likes to call this his Colin's dump chaser zone. So if this really is a bear, I'm not going to chase it and short down here. I'm going to wait for at least a 38.2, 250% bounce. And then if I am still a bear, I'm going to look for an M to actually join this bearish trade. So if Colin is getting ready to start hunting shorts, is this a place that we should be thinking about buying? No. So if anything, I would even use this 38.2 and especially 50% WD can, all that kind of fun stuff. This is where you want to take profits. What's super cool is through this sickness world, the good Lord decided that it was time for Brian to learn chaos theory. And the good part about for all of you is that I'm an open book. I know one guy who actually founded one of the biggest brokerage houses in the world. The way that he got rich back in the 1980s and 90s was trading chaos theory. So would you guys all like to learn chaos theory? Probably. And when they asked him, oh, can you tell us a little bit about how chaos theory works? In an interview, literally he was like, this is the end of the interview. Goodbye. Jerk. But the good Lord decided for whatever reason that it was time that Brian learned chaos theory. And so through this whole stupid sickness, idiocy, us all being locked in our prison cells and all that crap. And it's just a big con job by the pharmaceutical industry. I noticed that they're back at it now, trying to shill more vaccines. Jesus, it never ends. But the good Lord decided, well, Brian, let's all say, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Spirit. And I say this almost every single video. I'll say it again just because it needs to be said. I was basically at the end of my life. I had lost the love of my life. There was I have this beautiful special needs son. You all know Liam's story, so I won't go down that avenue. But I was at a loss for why was I even alive? Why was I being forced to stay alive after what I had just went through, losing my beautiful JoJo? And she actually came to me in the afterlife, believe it or not. But I believe it with all my soul, and I expect to see her when it's my turn to go to the other side. And she said, Brian, you have an opportunity to make a big positive difference in this world. She didn't say I would, but she said I had the opportunity. And since that day, I've just basically been an agent for Spirit. And I think Spirit is guiding me, and I'm a Taurus, which means that I don't get guided very well. You gotta I literally need one of those nose ring things, and you gotta lead me by the fucking nose ring. Like that's how painful it is to guide me. But I think Spirit has slowly guided me and brought just a absolute bevy of just the most beautiful human beings into my life. And I I just don't know. I get lots of feedback from you guys that yes, this is a good thing, but I just don't know. But I hope to God I've actually done that whole thing that she said. You have the opportunity to make a big positive difference in this world. And I sure hope I'm doing that. So, one of the sort of derivatives of all this is that I believe that Spirit working through our community and working through me is releasing this information in a very timely manner. And as I said, one of the gifts that we were given through this whole sickness and experience is learning this concept called chaos theory, and been studying it like a son of a gun. So actually, a really interesting anecdote here where we ran up into 4669s and noticed we banged right back down into 2.618s, resolved bullishly, which means the next stop on this move should be 877s. So that's up into this level. Boom, we blew right through 877. So that means the next stop should be 16. I think it's like 16. Well, we got 1688. I'm not actually sure what the numbers are here, to be honest with you. But we blew right through 1688. So the next stop, believe it or not, should be up around 32. And my hunch is that 32 probably aligns with 38.2 and 50% levels. Let's see which one. Maybe we'll do one of these. Let's do this. And we'll just do 32 even. Yeah, so there is 32 all the way up just above 50% level. So bottom line here is, when we've done this amount of extensions off of the bottom, you can't be a buyer in this kind of area here. You just, or sadly, and this is exactly the same thing as the Bitcoin story from the top. You could do exactly the same logic. I remember there was a guy that we used to have on the site that did videos with me. And we did the chaos theory. And, through this whole bull run, he's kind of like, well, 50 G's is probably my objective and my target. If we can consolidate and resolve bullishly through this level, great. Maybe we go higher, but you can see we eventually were rejected and we lost the 2.618. Remember, I just showed you that on that other one, and we went through 269, then blew right through 4669. But in this case, we just couldn't break through there and confirm, and we had to come back down. So point being, though, the people that are like, hey, I want to invest in cryptocurrencies and just finish their analysis at a page like this and listening to this crypto shiller, that crypto shiller, and hey, you're going to make a fortune and just buy it and don't worry about TA, you're gonna you'll make great money. It's easy peasy. Subscribe to my newsletter, right? Help my German buddy buy some more crystal meth and all that kind of talk. Actually, that's probably not very nice of me to say. Anyway, the point being that if you can inject just this little logic process into your investing, into your trading plan, right? You're going to save yourself a hell of a lot of headaches in this world. And unfortunately, what it means is you can't buy something that looks like that. Can you apply patience and discipline to your trading and force yourself to come in at the bottom end of the ranges and then just be patient? I think so. In fact, actually, there's a really good example of one that we bought just about a year ago, and I think actually it was in the newsletter here today, where the talking heads within this space were very bullish of this story. All the way back, even really back in the last cycle for that matter. But if you use that same logic that I just told you, and you can see I've already banged out doubles on this, so put that stuff away. But you can see, here's our reload zone and our venture cap reload zone. I'm really liking that concept here for the venture cap names. I used to be, in fact, actually, I when sort of re-signed up with my old prop firm just to see whether I could still trade futures contracts. I haven't hit their minimum profit objective yet to be actually even considered a real person again by them. But I suppose as soon as I hit that profit objective, they'll start talking to me again. Right now, they're like, yeah, Beamish, show me you can still trade, because frankly speaking, we don't think you can anymore. Hey, the account's up, so I'm not losing money, but I haven't hit their minimum number yet. Anyway, here's a good example where if you did nothing else, but just follow that trade location concept, that's all you followed, and you just went and just started to nibble through here, and you might have to sit on the name for like a full year, do absolutely nothing. But if you just followed trade location, you'd be banging out doubles now and establishing risk-free trades, which, thankfully, that's exactly what I did here. This is a good example of, as I said, there are different types of risk takers in the market, and this would be an example. In fact, actually, we're run. Anybody who's watching this video for the first time, who the hell is this Brian Beamish guy, and how should I listen to him? I used to run a book of retail client brokerage business in the stock market, like through the .com days. And I did this challenge back in 2014, I think it was. And into the 2017 bull, we basically took like $500 and we bought 1.25 Bitcoins. And the challenge was, could I take $500 and ramp it up to 100 G's? And as you can see from this, from our actual website, this page, the boys, they absolutely love this as marketing material. After we sold everything and paid taxes, the whole fucking thing, the end result of that bull market run was payout of $320,000 on that $500. Well, not bad. At the very top of the market, this actually, before taxes, it was a better part of $1 million. So anybody can do this. And actually in fact, actually, I think I even tweeted it out. And actually, we're back into this environment where I think you're probably going to see quite a few of these kind of tweets coming out, banging out doubles. I used to do. I mean, I don't think that this bull market's going to be as insane as the 17 bull market, but the interesting thing is like on this RUNE, we always say there's always a bull somewhere, and just the question is, can you find the actual name that's running? And in a weird sort of way, this original that we did, I didn't even milk this market. Where am I here? I didn't even milk this bull market for everything that I could have gotten out of it. All I did was I just strictly stuck to sell halves on doubles. But even recently, I had a pretty big win, and this one I just sort of I left it to work for a bit, and I got like 4x on with the little name when I was selling. I think it was on the loom somewhere along here. Where are you? Tweet so much stuff out. We had a pretty big win on loom about a month or so ago. Of course, can never find it when I want to show you this, guys, this stuff. Where are you? I should probably just look for it. Actually, and also too, the principal works in the stock market. So these are all crypto stocks. It was interesting how our marketing guru found that comment from a while ago. Is this the loop? Yeah, it is. Yeah. So this was a fun one where I bought some here, sold half on a double, reloaded, and then didn't sell until we started seeing just huge moves up here. And the irony of it all is that these numbers are kind of fun, but I think if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this. We'll find out on Tuesday. But if I'm not mistaken, I think our professional crypto analyst that we have at TRI, and the guy's a fucking genius. He is our official chief technology officer at TRI. I think he's taken easily that much out of the market just on this name alone. So I'm not quite sure how big these numbers are going to get by the end of this cycle. All I'm going to say, and these are all his names that he's interested in. And by all means, if you are interested, every Tuesday he comes on and has a nice chat with the community. If DMAC will just shut the hell up and let him talk, I swear that DMAC guy, he talks so goddamn much. It's ridiculous. That's a running joke, by the way. Anyway, these are some of his names that he's done the fundamental research, that he really likes the investment idea. And you tell me, I mean, do you think I like having Sjord driving the bus here? I mean, obviously the answer is pretty straightforward. Anyway, and it looks like here's another one that he likes that's just about getting ready to go. So you can see, I mean, look at this crazy ass one. This is nuts. I don't know whether you can use that. That's a little bit crazy, but let's use this peak here as just our top reference. So that's that there. That's $15, right? And I mean, everything that I just told you. You like that, DMAC? You're talking way too much. We got to buy you a gag or something. Just kidding. Anyway, can you see that, let's go back and find our rules. Let's try and make this as simple as possible for you guys. And, as I said, the whole purpose of this is to try and make a positive difference in this world. If you need help, our whole school is basically built around just walking you through step by step by step how to do this. I know that there are some other people on the internet that all they do is they just watch my free videos. And there's one guy actually basically wrote a whole user's manual of how to trade just by following all my free videos. And now he's off. He and another old TRIer have got a huge community going, and they're making tons of money. I think they're even teaching people how to trade themselves. So anyway, point that I would just make is, can you see the process here? And this is what if there was something that I was going to teach all of you, it's not, hey, buy this coin, you'll get rich. If anything, if you hear people talking like that, stay the fuck away from them. I mean, they might be right once or twice, but you can only milk that thing so long. And then you get into a situation where we're at the end of a huge bull run and they're still shelling, oh yeah, buy this thing, you'll get rich. And then you got to sit there for a couple of years and you might even find that your name goes right off the board. It's definitely possible. So, in fact, not possible, I'd say probable. That's the hey, hey, hey. Is Mr. Hey, hey, hey here? There he is. Hey, you don't even have to say anything. Just give us a hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
There he is. My Romanian trading god. Anyway, just the point is, and if you don't know what that reference is, then you really need TRI. You better get fucking schooled up because Mr. Hey, 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 he's gonna take your money in a heartbeat. Just anyway. But this is exactly the same logic. I mean, number one, what do you think? Are we at or near the bottom end of the trading range? Yeah, very good, Jay. Is this a half decent trade location? Are you chasing? Well, give me some feedback here, people. Andre says Fjord represents most of my profits. Lifetime free drinks on me for Fjord. So that means I gotta like what the problem is that he's so goddamn tall. It's almost impossible to impersonate him. But should we all get like Fjord face masks and then turn up at your doorstep? Okay, where are the free drinks? Just kidding. I think that's pretty good trade location. How about indicator confirmation? Do we have any signs that, hey, we're making higher highs and higher lows on momentum indicators? Look at all this. Look at all these W's down in here. And look at the MACD. There's W-ish type action there. It looks like, is that low? Oh, that low is about the same. Looks like there's a big one here, that low to that low. Oh, there's also another one there. But I do like this, just really simple. Keep it simple, stupid. These lows are obviously much higher than that low. So let's see what the price looked like following this event right there. So we're starting to make higher highs and higher lows. That is right here. Oh yeah, so you can see price is making lower lows. MACD is making higher lows. And look at our RSI. Look at that. If you're a fan of RSI, I don't know, have you ever heard that Beamish talk about W's and RSI? You can clearly see where the bears were told to cool their jets. Anybody who follows my sort of, not really teaching, but sort of ranting about how I used to use RSI when I trade, there's the first W. And I think you can make the argument bigger, huge structural W comes in through that event there. Not quite through the 50 line. Notice that there was a W that came in through the 50 line there. So I guess just the point is, if you use, and actually this is a really good example. Speaking of Sjord, he loves using this. Maybe one day we could get Sjord to actually put this into some sort of learning module. But notice when Bollinger Bands are on RSI and the Bollinger Bands contract like that, you see how they're squeezing in? That's actually a huge sign that something big is about to happen. I don't know whether you can see that. Band squeezes in, volatility is coming out of the RSI study, energy is building. And, Brian uses his second W, and I kind of like this one here, through this 50 line. I would say this was sort of the initial that the bear move stopped. But I think this is your buy signal of buy signals. And that came in right through here. So let's go see what that actually looked like in price. So we'll put that as a big line there. All right, so bear slide stops here, right? You can see the bullish MACD divergence on this slide lower in price. And RSI W's through 50 lines through here. That was this big pop through here. which I think kind of makes sense because, if we look at this, is this not, what letter of the alphabet does this look like? So if we go down, then up, then down, notice we did not make lower lows, and then we broke out through the middle part of the W. Can you see that right there? So that corresponds, we have our bullish momentum divergence way over here. We've got our RSI all Wing out. We've got our holy shit run for the hills, huge RSI buy signal, W through 50 line come in on that pop right there. You didn't have to chase. You could just sit and say, okay, well, I'll buy that W and I'll risk to a break of the bottom end of the range. Notice how they tested your resolve big time. And keep in mind, that's exactly what markets do. There's nothing really out of the ordinary here. We sort of waffled, never stopped out. If we go through this line, that means we lose the W, never went through there. And then woohoo, away she goes. So really, really good example of everything that we teach at TRI. Problem is, I don't know whether I feel too comfortable about buying there. I don't mind being long from 214, but 309, maybe that's not such a good price. But this is where this gets super cool, is let's say that you missed that. Well, we can apply the exact same logic, take our reload zone tool. Of course, we teach this in the education program, so if you need to learn it, we have a fantastic level 1 instructor. Unfortunately, he's sick today. So, maybe that's maybe one reason why we have such a big class here or video participation here today. But notice we can draw our reload zones. And look how, isn't this interesting? Look how this 78.6, and anybody who's a longtime listener, fan of 78.6, what's my affectionate name for the 78.6? I'll give you the acronym BFF. What do you think that stands for? But notice this actually sets up perfectly right off the original double bottom breakout. It's Brian's favorite fib, BFF, 78.6. But, the interesting thing about this, right, is this is actually a setup for us where if you get a pullback that tags 78.6 of the range off of the previous market structure, this is what, thanks, Constantine. But this is a setup that we have in the library. We call it our shark setup. So can't chase up there. You have to be patient and disciplined and buy reload zones. And if this thing does dip against these lows, I would be more than happy to buy more of that. But we already have a lot of this. Like I said, we've got our CTO picking a really good quality fundamental names. He's got a nice universe of names that he likes. And we've basically given him the green light to go ahead and start investing in earnest. Here's another example, and let's just do a poll of the audience. Do you think Brian's going to be encouraging you to buy this name here? Hey, Zugi. Zugi's another guy here. He helped me out a lot yesterday. Bought one of his names that he's really interested in. Would you be interested to know what Zugi's interested in right now? He's another one of these crypto genius guys. If you actually said, no, I'm not interested, you're really doing yourself a disservice. And the fact that I would actually even be able to tell you something that he bought, I bought some yesterday, so I'm fully invested. Actually, not fully, only half invested. Maybe if my stink bid gets filled on the other half, then I'll maybe say, yeah, I don't want to say anything now. I have to get that other fill first. So I just got to tease you. But of course, everybody at TRI probably already knows the name that I'm actually, maybe yes, maybe no, I don't know. But anyway, this is a name where we're very interested. In fact, actually, I think Sjord's along from down here. He's such a genius. God, the guy's incredible. But look at this. This is a really cool concept. You know, if you're looking at your altcoins and you're kind of thinking, let's see, where can I wonder if there's one that I can find that hasn't, I guess this was it here. If you have an altcoin and it's got higher highs and higher lows like this, but the most recent high is kind of like a V top and it's broken the downtrend line off of this, you can actually play connect the dots. And look at this. This is so freaking cool. So boom, boom, and look where it stopped, right on that damn trend line. Isn't that incredible? So needless to say, I was encouraging Sjord to take some profits on this thing up top here. I think he has. But the point here is you cannot come in and on the buy side on these names up here. And look at these poor souls now. And let's see if any of you are students of mine. Where do you think these people that bought this name all up in here, where are they sleeping right now? Eddie says it's following his pattern perfectly. So that's what you were expecting to happen? Hey, there's Shane. Oh, son of a bitch. Look what the cat dragged in. I haven't seen Shane in forever. Well, it's awfully nice of you to be on the YouTube. Maybe say hello if you wouldn't mind, Shane. It would be nice to check in with you. On the couch, TBG says, the dog's couch. Not only the humans don't sleep on this couch, it's the dog's couch in the dog house. That's good, the dog's couch. So, you know, the sad part about it is if you don't have the patience and discipline, and you just come on this site and you go, oh, you know, this one looks like it's good. All right. Oh, yeah, what the hell? It looks like it's in a bull market. Let's just go and buy this. You might just be one of these type of people, which really sucks. I mean, it really, really sucks to be trapped in these kind of names up here because you don't know. This thing might go screaming all the way right back down and test the bottom end of the range again. Could easily do that. So for God's sakes, this is a perfect example where you can see the people that did chase this up here, they're already starting to feel the pain. And, you know, this guy here, he is running right now. There is no guarantees whatsoever that this candle doesn't turn into some crazy ass wick. You can see we just tagged 4669s. So anyway, I don't know whether that helped or not, but hopefully that was a nice public service announcement that for God's sakes, don't chase. Just don't be greedy. And if anything, you gotta, let's see if you guys can remember how this expression goes. You have to be, let's see, how do we say this? When people are yelling and they're all excited about something, what do you think you should be doing? Remember, there's only two things you can't do in the market, right? You can either buy or you can sell. So if they're yelling and getting all excited, and remember this nonsense, remember that Michael Saylor guy? And now, oh my God, that guy was a rock star. And remember that stupid jerk coming in and manipulating the price of Doge and then going on Saturday Night Live and look how fucking awesome I am. I don't know whether, I mean, Doge is not still a fraction of that price. But when they are yelling, unfortunately, what you really need to be doing is selling. But when they're crying, that's actually when you want to be buying. It's the hardest thing to do because I can tell you, when they're crying and they're giving this stuff away, you know, you're going to hear that everything's going to go to zero. And you got to somehow have the tenacity to step in there and say, you know what, I think I'm willing to take a shot. You want to see a really good example of that I did recently, which is super cool. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I looked at this. Somebody had mentioned this to me yesterday. And of course, hopefully after that conversation you just heard, from me a few minutes ago about 3 reasons to justify a trade. Can you see that there's a cute little bottom that's formed on this particular name? In actual fact, this is, textbook definition wise, I think this is what's called an atom. And I don't know whether we want to call it a Steve. Let's just, we'll leave it at the politically correct name, and an Eve. So V bottom makes your atom. Of course, atom, where they can get that kind of reference from. And then actually we had one guy on the site before, he used to always call these J-Lo booty bottoms, where, you want that nice, well-defined bottom. But you can think of Adam and Eve. This is one that nobody in the public is even the slightest bit interested. And I would even reference that people would probably laugh at me for taking a shot on this. But I mean, you can see the W's. I don't know whether this says bull. Oh my goodness, look at this goddamn. Can you see the bullish divergence here? I mean, this is ridiculous. So momentum goes down, then up, then down, does not make a new low, and then breaks out, and boom, boom, gone. And on this push down here, you can see price is making a lower low. So to me, that looks very attractive here. Nice big bull div. And look at the volume pouring in here. That's kind of interesting. So this is a really good example where I would imagine if you pulled anybody that was actually in this thing, my hunch is they're crying, or they've already thrown up and they've given up the towel and they're cursing this guy's name. I don't think the guy himself is even part of this story, but there was a pretty big, let's see if I can show you the image. Let's see if I can show you. This gentleman has got basically this this tattoo on his arm for the rest of his life, and that's a big ass tattoo. So my hunch is this guy, and he's a fairly well off guy. I don't think he's a billionaire, but he's definitely in the tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and I think he wants his money back. So I don't think he's going to give up on this story until they actually bring this thing back to parity. So we're going to call this the gold-plated Vaca trade. So anybody who's a TRI member, you know about gold-plated steaks, and you know about Vaca and French ladies and all that. But we took a flyer on this for fun. It is a W. It is an Adam and Eve, and this thing. It's an old stable coin. So my hunch is that there's probably a lot of people that own this stable coin from when it was a stable coin, and they want their money back. And so that means that you can see there is the old stable peg when it was 100 to 1, right? I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know whether they can reestablish the peg or not. But the actual coin itself has actually been moving up quite a bit here recently. And I mean, this is so cliche. I don't know. What letter of the alphabet can you see there? Or I can see a big honking W staring me in the face. Is this thing got any room to move back up? You tell me. I mean, that's when it was all popular, and believe it or not, I actually had a sell order working here at like 120.50 on yet another car. I sold a whole bunch the whole way up here. And this is what this thing did. And I even told our CTO, because our CTO was pretty heavily in this name. And unfortunately, this was a really important lesson for him to learn, was maybe after an absolutely ridiculous run up, you maybe take some profits. That's not a bad idea. But anyway, I even told him, I said, you know what? I'd be willing to bet that by the time the next cycle comes around, because this reminds me a lot of like the Phoenix and Phoenix tokens. Do any of you remember that story? He took profits, but he left them in the ecosystem, which was the mistake. Does anybody remember the Phoenix story? The Phoenix hack? Phoenix tokens? You guys remember those? And I think actually that ultimately turned into USDT. I think that's how the actual story ended up playing out. Anyway, the point being that I think it was probably 2000. Geez, I think I was like 2016, 2015, 2016, that bottom in there. There was a Phoenix hack. A whole bunch of people got wiped out. The Phoenix people said, you know what? All we can do is issue these tokens to you. Just hold on. We'll try and make you whole. And they actually, those people that held on, they eventually were made whole. And I told Stuart, I said, you know, I would not be surprised if by time 25, 26 rolls around, they've actually cleaned this thing up and people have been made whole again. So for fun, what the hell? I mean, you can see the W there. I'm a risk taker. Don't put more than 5% of your portfolio at risk. And, you know, in this case, actually, this represents maybe 2% of my stake. Not much money at all. And this is a very small stake that I'm running here for this particular plan. And I went and bought a little bit of this stable coin at 0.014 on the dollar, which if this thing goes whole, this will be worth that'll be basically 1-to-1. That'll be worth 20 grand. And I've told the community that if this does play out and this happens, that we are going to go and we'll buy a really big, maybe like a half a cow or something like that, take the money and just dip it in gold, and we'll sit and we'll enjoy our gold-plated Vaca on Luna and the UST. Who knows what'll happen? Only time will tell. Huh? All right. Well, are you guys enjoying this conversation today? Is anybody getting any value out of this? I hope so. Man, that hour sure went quick, eh? Anyway, I'm giving you an idea of a few things that I'm actually buying. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. If this thing does pop up into 3-cent area, I'll be more than happy to sell half, get all my original 300 USD back. My big fucking deal. And then we have a free ride. We'll see where the hell that takes us from there. But I'm not really in a hurry to do anything. If anything, I'd almost want to just like to leave this thing alone and just come back in a year or two and just see what the hell happened. All right. Constantine says lots of value entertainment today. Okay, good. Okay, so let's maybe change gears now. Thank you for the reminder, Chris, and let's pop on over. Talk a little newsletter. What are we supposed to be talking about today? Did you dude up a actual sort of is this the newsletter with and unfortunately I was running a little bit late here today, so I didn't do the daily and the 4-hour summaries of Bitcoin price action. I'll do them when I come back from Liam tonight. I suppose I could talk to you a little bit about what I see going on there, but it's nothing. Actually, not a heck of a lot has changed over the past week, but was interesting to see breadth indicator flashed a major warning sign. I still think we're in some sort of blow off top here. I really don't like the idea of investing in Bitcoin here right now. I don't really like the idea of anybody chasing. You know, this link is our sort of our story of the week, in that we banged out a nice double there, just everything that I teach you guys to do, everything, you know, where is it? Do I have it here? Yeah, everything about this, you know, this is exactly, I'm just doing exactly the same thing that I did 4 or 5 years ago. So just slow and steady wins the race. You know, if anything, what you should learn is every 4 years, basically the market goes through this exact same process. I do find it interesting that if you go on social media and you listen to the public, everybody's crying recession. Everybody's crying that it's the end of the world. I can tell you from playing this stupid game for as long as I have that, number one, very rarely will they ever let the market break into an election. Why? Because the guy who's in charge, he wants a job for the next 4 years. And, you know, regardless of how much of a fuddy-duddy he is, and I noticed that Donald Trump is also doing some of those brain fart kind of speeches where he heads off on funny tangents, and everybody's like, what the fuck is he talking about? So, this is more a function that all these politicians that we have in front of us, they're way too old. They should be off in retirement. They should be on the golf course. They should be playing canasta. They shouldn't be running countries. But, that's unfortunately the situation that we're in with these damn baby boomers. They just won't let go of control. Yeah, and it's been sort of that's been the hallmark of their entire life, is that they've felt like they're just been better than everybody else. And what a big surprise, they won't let go of control. You see the guy who's running the fucking Republican Senate? He's a zombie. And he literally he'll just literally check out. And all of his aides have to go, yes, Mr. Politician who controls the fate of all of us. Maybe you need a cookie and a nap now. Would that be a good idea? Yeah, why don't we go and have a little sit down in the corner? I mean, this is insane, the fucking world we're living in. Doesn't surprise me that we're going through this great reset. And by the end of this cycle, oh God, make your money, people, and try and just get the fuck out. Because I think that 27, 28, 29, 30, that's where it's going to be absolute disaster for our society. Because all of this bullshit, the way that they just keep kicking the can down the road. And I hate to say it, but going back to our newsletter, there was more kicking the can down the road. And it's turned into an absolute shit show. You listen to a guy like Stanley Druckenmiller, and he's like, how on earth is Janet Yellen even allowed to keep her job? She has fucked this entire situation up so staggeringly that she's either incompetent and she literally should be, I don't know, tarred and feathered for the absolute disaster that she has created for the US government here. Or this is all part of somebody's plan. And somebody is intentionally trying to bankrupt the United States of America. I'm not quite sure which one it is. I will say that you never, ever, and if you have not heard this before, for fuck's sakes, write it down. You never listen to a central bankster and take their advice of what they think is going to happen. They are always wrong. They are always late. They always do too much. And they always cause horrible disasters. Always. In fact, actually, there used to be a fun Mad TV skit. Does anybody remember that? And this is how fucked up our world is. You're not even allowed to make reference to those comedy skits anymore because, they're not politically correct. He was called the disgruntled Iranian tow truck driver or something. Always. Any of you remember that? Those are the good old days, the 90s, when life was enjoyable. This world we live in is totally fucked. Always. That guy, never. Always never. Anyway, so we start off the rant here this week with, oh my God. I mean, they fucked up the US balance sheet so badly. Now the credit rating agencies, they have no choice but to get downgrade the situation. It is really bad. And of course, if you're on the TRI site and you participate in our daily briefs, I was giving you guys all last week videos and stuff. The interview with Stanley Druckenmiller, if you want to watch that, scroll through our lounge back up. I gave you the video link to that. And it turns out that actually they kind of uncovered this one guy on social media. I got to sneeze. Hold on. Excuse me. Oh, only one this time. Anyway, he uncovered that actually it turns out that there's this secret board that actually is making all the investment decisions for the US government right now. They call it like the Treasury Advisory Board or something like that. So all you tinfoil hatters, conspiracy people, all that kind of stuff, they are I think they just got a huge shot in the arm with this Treasury Advisory Board. I mean, talk about what do they call it? Deep state or whatever, something like that. And actually, I think the deep state was actually revealed a little bit there last week. Point of the matter here is the U.S. Treasury issuance has gone absolutely haywire. Granny has completely fucked the situation up. He got it to the point where Stanley Druckenmiller is probably one of the most revered investment gurus of our time, is basically calling for her head. And, you know, he just keeps shaking his head saying, I can't believe how they've completely destroyed our society. I mean, it's stunning how bad it is. So I do think that they're not going to let this thing break through this election in 24. That was my whole point I was trying to get to. They will try and kick the can as much as they can, no pun intended, for at least the next year or two. But once we get to the, and should the Democrats actually win next fall, then I think they're setting up a scenario where we should have some sort of like absolute meltdown in our society through 2027, 2028, all the way through to probably 2031, 2032. So for God's sakes, if you want to make money, if you want to change your life for the better, and then get the fuck out, maybe buy an island or go buy French ladies retreat and just disappear into the backwoods of a country like Portugal or something, which isn't a bad idea because that's not where the shit's going to hit the fan. The shit's going to hit the fan and life's going to get really ugly in, like, if you live in like London, New York, Vancouver, right? And these like high density population centers. And the worst part about a place like Vancouver is there is no industry here. So when this real estate fugazi breaks, and you've got a whole bunch of people that were expecting to draw on equity out of their homes, and that equity is gone and it ain't coming back, what are these people going to do for food? It could get damn ugly in our society here, folks. Just understand that. And so my warning to all of you is, you know, we are now back into the friendly stage. If anything, probably the hallmark that our sort of friendly window where we can try and go make as much money as we possibly can and then get the fuck out and go buy your island or something, I think is based on let's see if I can find it. This image. So I used to overlay the euro dollar market on top of this. This is the Fed funds futures, or basically the banksters guarantee short-term interest rate. If anything, a really good analogy of how fucked up our world is, it used to be that the US government was the backstop for the market. Then they mysteriously had to shift to these Fed fund futures because the US government is technically bankrupt. They cannot guarantee their paper anymore. So they've actually had to rely now on this Federal Reserve Board, which is nothing more than a cartel of a whole bunch of the biggest money center banks. Nothing to do with the US government whatsoever. And that's the scary part about all this, is people think that the Fed is actually part of the US federal government. It has nothing to do with the US government at all, which is really scary, because would the Federal Reserve Board give a flying fuck if whether the United States of America goes under? I don't think they care. It won't make a difference to them. They'll just find some other fugazi currency to use as a hegemony, and do the same to them over the course of a century. It's just the way this central bank model works. And, I sound like a broken record, but you all know what's coming next. If you really want to learn how this con job of a society works, just go and watch the Money Masters videos. This guy, oh, look at that. Isn't that interesting? So they finally killed him. What a coincidence, eh? Let's see, maybe if I can find it on a different one. Hey, there he is. All right, so they didn't kill this one. They killed the other one. Do yourself a favor and go download this video before they kill this. But, it's a 3-hour lecture, 3.5 hours. But it's basically the history of money going all the way back to, like, Jesus, the Roman days. I think you saw right at the beginning of the video, they made reference to Caesar, right? There's Caesar. So, I mean, you could argue that the banksters have been doing all this shit. He has his own website too. Well, if you can find the website, Andre, post that on there. I'd appreciate it. I just happen to use this because it's an easy reference for people. And actually, I think even on our YouTube page, I have it in sort of like, you must watch this video. All right, take it easy, Zog. Zug. The sauna and the hot tub awaits. There you go. And actually, do it for your ankle, right? Zug, are you still here, Zug, or did he take off?
Yo, I'm still here.
Dude, 30 fucking years later, I still deal with this damn shoulder because I didn't take the time and effort to let it heal correctly.
Yeah,
So
it's
just
important.
take the time right now while you can and let that ankle heal.
I appreciate the advice. I'm gonna hop. Thanks for the show.
All right, take it easy, bud. Thank you for everything
Bye.
that you do. So anyway, and one thing I will say is that the writing is on the walls. There's so much writing on the walls, you can't even see it because just the graffiti is everywhere. So there is another disaster coming. But what I would say is that I think that they're going to push it out one more sort of cycle here. But don't get caught with your pants down in 28, 29, 30, 31. Who can tell me? When do recessions usually happen? When is the market the worst? And oh, by the way, they kicked the can down the road because they were able to manufacture a nice crisis that sort of distracted everybody. Thank you. Excellent, Adam. Years that end in 8s, 9s, 0s, 1s, and 2s. And what you just saw there, 2019 through 2021, 2022, that is exactly what's supposed to happen through these parts of the cycle. And of course, I mean, the irony of it all is that everything got fucked up because of this sickness. So everybody's going to be like, well, there wasn't a recession. I got handed a whole bunch of free money. Oh, have you noticed the hyperinflation that we're living through because of all that free money? Do you really think that that was a good idea at the end of the day to kick the can down the road? And, you listen to Chris's girlfriend here, and she's saying that this situation is going to make 08 look almost laughable in comparison. And again, 08, another in years that end in 8s, 9s, 0s, 1s, and 2s. Cotter says 26 through 32 has been her cycle down turn, then we're supposed to take off again. Yeah. There's the irony of it all is that actually this stuff is incredibly cliche. It's just that, does it make sense that if you are a smart money guy and you go and buy an asset at the bottom of the market, and then of course you want to it should be interesting to, hey, there we are. All right, well, look at that. So somebody else has actually jumped in front of us now. But we had this is Josh's rendition of this. And what's so super cool is he actually updated this and made it a lot more readable and understandable. And I actually saw some social media guy, who actually had our website playing in the background of his video, which I thought was hilarious. Anyway, if you see this image, and I mean, don't overthink this stuff. Keep it as simple as possible. Subscribe. Hey, don't go anywhere. Subscribe. I love it. Anyway, there is the image. So where are we? Here we are right here. So you can see that coming out of 23, this is a pretty damn ugly pivot low. And we're not going into one of our orgy peaks. This is not going to be an orgy. This is going to be like, remember 2007? That's a pretty good example. 2016, that was a good example. It's going to be, it should be a fun market. And, you know, you see the runes. The public probably isn't going to participate too much in this, but if you are a smart money person in crypto and you can buy the W's and get into the bottoms, there's going to be plenty of 10X's, 100X's for you to be made. Is there going to be the Sam Bankman-Fried kind of nonsense this cycle? I don't think so. But anyway, that's my opinion. Then this period here from 26 to 32, you know, years that end in 8s, 9s, 0s, 1s, and 2s. This is going to be a very, very tough window, folks. Don't be surprised. Like, this is the meat and potatoes of that great reset. This is where we're going to literally be wanting to lynch substitute drama teachers who have had their orifices penetrated by the World Economic Forum yahoos. I'm trying to say words that aren't going to land me in jail if played back at my trial. But you all know exactly what I'm talking about when I say penetrated the cabinets, right? You all know exactly who I'm talking about. So this is going to be a very, very difficult period, but we're not there now. Right now, we're in this upswing. So enjoy the ride, people. Get your shit together. Get everything lined up, right? There's no reason why each and every one of you can't be banging out doubles and the whole thing here as these names move back up. Right? I don't know where... and the point here is, I mean, and if you need help with trying to identify good fundamental names to invest in, I mean, we've got I've been in this space for 10 years now, folks. 10 years I've been in this space. I have not found a better fundamental analyst in this space than TRI CTO. Like, I can't come up with a better sales pitch for you to actually join TRI if you are a crypto enthusiast than just simply you have Sjord's ear. Who's that? Penetrated the cabinets? I can't see. Andre says it looks like YouTube. Oh, you guys are off talking about something else, eh? I don't know. Okay, anyway. The guy is an absolute fucking genius, and I think he walks on water. I mean, when it comes to fundamental analysis in this space, and like I said, here's his latest one. You can see there it goes. It's starting to go. And of course, he's been in this hello since the bottom. And as you saw, guys like Andre there on the site are just making fortunes off of Sjord's research. And I mean, hell, that's what we're supposed to be doing here. But you can't chase this thing up here. If you missed it, you missed it. Tough shit. Wait for the next bus. So anyway, okay. Back to our story. Oh, is there questions today? Oh shit. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to leave this at this. Just a quick overview of the corn. Did move higher here, and the tweet that I put out last week The tweet that I put out this week was just a reiteration. It looks like this bull ABCD is working. 50% of the entire range. This candle wick, a whole bunch of trapped bulls in that wick. This original empire top, that is the original top of this entire down move. I think that that's probably a realistic target as well. Off of this consolidation and breakout, 2.618 chaos theory objectives, sitting right at that 50% level, sitting right at that ABCD level. I mean, until this thing actually does M out, I don't think I want to step in front of this thing. Yes, algorithms are very toppy, extremely dangerous. But remember, algos are for traders. And the last algo signal, it got stopped out for a 10% loss. And now the algo, as you can see from this image right here, and I don't know whether we want to continually publish this. We would encourage you guys to subscribe. But you can see the algos actually turned back up with it basically sitting right at 100. Extremely dangerous, dangerous market state. Now, if we look at the lower time frames, yes, there could be some sort of blow off top here. And I'll update the daily and 4-hour ones when I get back from Liam. But just quick boo at the charts here. Daily chart. Let's see, how do I do this? Like that. There we go. MACD bear div fully in place here. It hasn't confirmed yet. The actual confirmation of divergence is when this thing actually M's out. But clearly, we are not going to new highs here, not even close. And yet price is moving to new highs. Major, major warning sign. Price is moving to new highs. Volume is not moving to new highs. Another major warning sign. No M here yet either, so we haven't broken yet. But if you start seeing divergence in these indicators, you can't be a buyer there. I'm sorry, there's no way in hell I could justify investing in Bitcoins here. Willie, the whole reason why I built this indicator, Willie is officially stupid, stupidly overbought, and ridiculously so. Minus 11. Remember, this thing can only go to minus or 0. And the extreme reading on the downside, it can only go to minus 100. And you can see here's a reading at the very bottom here. There's a reading of minus 92. So in essence, you start getting into single digits, like there's minus 6, there's minus 8 on this indicator here with the moving average, right? Sitting at minus 11. There is no way in hell I could never, ever, ever tell somebody with a clean consciousness, this is an okay place to invest in Bitcoin. Bitcoin may be a great investment, and that's perfectly fine. Next best thing since sliced bread. That's totally cool. But as it stands right now, technically speaking, even though you see the market is grinding its way higher, there's no way in hell I can go to anybody, hey, this is a good investment idea. This is a horrible investment idea. But anyway, that's just Brian's 2 cents. And followers drop off, and not that many likes, not that many views, blah, 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 blah. You know how it all goes. But I'm not going to bullshit you guys. There's no way in hell I'm going to get sucked into the circle jerk. It's just not going to happen. So if somebody did come to me and say, I want to invest in Bitcoin, I'd say, all right, well, maybe it's a good idea. But right now, technically, horrible idea. Now, for the traders, right, we can go zoom down. I've shown you this chart for a while now. This funny little bot setup, this long setup that we had working, 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows. All right, we can start hunting trend continuation trades. Bot objectives would take us all the way up to 38,000 here. You can see this setup is just working away, doing its thing. And this was like 1/10 of a Bitcoin. It was a demo trade. And I like to do these demos here just to show you guys in the public how this stuff works. So at this point, we've had our move stop to trailing level hit on this setup at 66%. So then I start doing my count. I want to move my stop to the 3rd most recent low. So then that way, if there is a quick FU move, kind of like this here, I don't get flushed out of a good position. So if notice there's a W in price right here, and then there's also another low here, which is higher than these. So we did have this as one here, but that low got taken out. And this is why I don't want to have my stop right here. Because you notice they flushed this recent low out, but this thing could very easily just continue working its way higher. So I want to count backwards. 1 kilo, 2 kilos, 3 kilos. All right, I could have my stop below this level. As it stands right now, the most recent count that I had done was 1, 2, 3, like so. And so that was why I have my stop just below this low right here. But, for you, all you valued viewers, you can see in real time how I would manage this. This low here says 35,784. So let's move our stop to 35,7, I don't know, let's go 7.5. All right, well, what the hell? We'll get greedy. Let's go 8.0. So you got to make damn sure the number's right. We don't want to market sell this thing. 35,784, 35,780, that works. So we will modify that, and now you can see my stop is up here. Targets, we will look to sell half of the position at the bought objective. And interesting, if this thing does go parabolic, notice alt ABCDs 1.272 all the way to 1.618. So there's basically that 40,000 up to 42,000 window. And that just so happens to correspond 50% is 42. And the 2.618 is 42. The AB equals CD, 41.7. So that kind of lines up that if we do get some sort of crazy blow off top, maybe an announcement of the ETF, huge circle jerk orgy, everybody thinks Bitcoin's the next best thing since sliced bread. That's your top. Public comes in and buys, and then we spend 6 months correcting. And I could very easily see something like that. So if you are a trader, actually, I think just working these longs is the way to go right now. And I even said that had we gotten any kind of M's through here, I would be more than happy to join the algo on the short side. But you can see no M's ever developed through here, which was fascinating. I was quite surprised by that, to be honest with you. So anyway, that's the situation as it is. Notice that if we do break through this low here, this will create a big fat M. Up, down, up, see you later. So if we do break through these levels, I think it's probably, if we break through this trend line, it's probably a good bet that we're going to dump hard here. I don't know what the hell is going to happen here. And I've told you guys this repeatedly. I don't really like the idea of getting into the business of predicting what's going to happen. Trade your setups, your opinions. Everybody's got an opinion. You know how that story goes. Trade your setups and just live with the results. And I've been walking you guys through this setup for the past few weeks now. Nothing's really changed. It's just business as usual. Okay, so there's your Bitcoin summary. Chris said that there are some questions in the AMA document. So let's pop on over there and we'll spend the last 20 minutes, half hour doing that. And then oh, Jesus. I guess because wait a minute. No, that's a year ago. Wait a minute. Let's go to today. There we go. That's not so bad. All right. All right, so we'll spend the last 20 minutes here. If I can't finish all of this, then by all means, let's finish this in the Monday after party show. But my hunch is next 20 minutes, we should be able to wrap this up. And then I wish all of you to wish Liam and I great success on the road today and positive PMA and karma and all that. Okay, so let's see what this person says here. Hi, Brian. I have a question about tax loss selling in regard to crypto. Oh, boy. Okay. This is my second year attempting to participate in tax loss selling. All right. I noticed last year I sold quite a few positions at the very end of December, and then I waited to get a slightly lower price to rebuy the exact same amount of the asset and wound up missing a slightly lower price. Market took off 1,123. had to rebuy the asset at a higher price at the beginning of 23. So this year, I am starting a tax loss selling now, early November. Is it better to wait until early December to tax loss sell? Or am I doing the right thing to start selling off assets at a loss and then rebuying them now through the month of November? You can't do that. No, I would definitely not do that. You can only do that if you wait for 3 business days following the calendar new year. So you can't go and sell now and then wait for like a week or two down the road. It's still calendar year 23 and go buy them back and assume that you can assume that tax loss. You can't do that. So the whole point is that you are going to sell it into the end of the year and then wait for the new calendar year to start. But remember, there's something called the January effect and the January barometer, which basically says the January effect says that small caps will dramatically outperform in the month of January because of that tax loss pressure into the end of the year. What I would say is usually, of course, nothing's written in stone, but usually the market pulls back in like the middle of February. So I would, and if you think about like 2020, the market absolutely puked out horrifically into that whole crisis in the middle of March. So just understand that you're not operating out on an island. There are probably millions of other market participants who are thinking exactly the same thing as you. So what I would suggest if you are thinking about doing the tax loss selling is, and number one, I think you really should be working with a financial advisor. They are going to tell you the very specific rules around tax loss buying and selling in whatever your jurisdiction is. And remember, from one country to the next, there's always different criteria. Hell, you might even find that your particular country doesn't follow the same tax loss selling rules as my country. And there are some countries like Germany, if I'm not mistaken, that if you own the crypto for a certain amount of time, there is no taxable consequences on a buy or sell. But either tax loss sell, book the loss, and offset a gain somewhere else versus the gain that you booked earlier on in the year. So I think number one, my comment here is you really should be working with an accountant. TRI is not a tax advisory service. We are not and never will bill ourselves as that. So please, let's just get that straightforward right out of the gate. You should be working with some sort of financial advisor. Absolutely. Is this going to be really easy peasy? And hey, that was so simple. Geez, I can't believe how ridiculous that was. I doubt it, because there's going to be a lot of other people doing exactly the same thing that you're doing. You know what? Is it an accident that actually, because these names, like, like this hello, for example, you might argue that anybody who bought through here was thinking about booking a tax loss sell into the end of the year, only they found out that actually now they're sitting on a capital gain if they happen to sell. Is there a potential that maybe that's what's going on with a lot of these names? You had like investment houses that ramped up the shill through the summer, and into the end of the year, they're kind of want to like, maybe we just want to get the price back to where the majority of our client base is long, so that they aren't incentivized to do a tax loss sell. And by time January rolls around, anybody who did do a tax loss sell through this window here, they're going to be forced to pay literally right back at the top of the market if they just want to knee jerk, just buy straight back in. That wouldn't surprise me. So there's a lot of moving parts. This is not going to be, and I mean, I don't know. Have any of you dealt with taxes in the past? Is the tax code itself easy to understand? Is it easy to navigate? Again, I think you really want to be working with a professional advisor here. This might be one of the situations where you're penny wise but pound foolish. You want to save a couple bucks because you don't want to pay that investment advisor or tax accountant, CPA, CTA, whatever you want to call it. No, I don't have CTA. I think that's for technical analysis, but you get the idea. I would actually, to be honest with you, to defer this question to a professional accountant, I think it would actually be a better idea. But I can tell you right now here, what you said here. Am I doing the right thing here, selling off assets at a loss and then rebuying them now through the month of November? Absolutely not. That is completely wrong. In fact, you better be careful with that. If I'm not mistaken, you have to wait. I think it's called the attribution rule or something like that. But you have to wait at least, I think it's something like 5 business days into the new year before you can go and rebuy them. And not a big surprise, they call it the January effect. Small cap stocks, and I don't know, I'm sure, well, actually, I do know from history, crypto usually does really, really well. The altcoins, that first month of the new year, they have a huge pop. So I don't think that you're correct in this thinking here, that you can just sell it and then rebuy it here and claim the loss. But I think you better check with an accountant here. I guess the moral of the story is, if I am selling for taxes selling, but I really don't want to totally liquidate the asset, just buy it back at the exact same price right away. Ooh, I don't know. To be perfectly straightforward and not give you any bullshit, I'm just going to simply say, I am not a tax expert in your jurisdiction. You had better check with a local expert in your jurisdiction. I'm sorry, Fred. I want to be like, hey, I know everything. Look at me. But I can't give you a straight answer on this without me, like, just blowing smoke up your ass. And the last thing in the world I want to do is give you the wrong answer here. So I'm sorry, Fred. I'm going to just simply say, I think you better find an expert in your local field, which is going to be tricky. And don't get too wrapped up in the crypto of this. Just understand it is an asset that you are buying. CFTC calls it a commodity. So that means it's just straight capital gain, capital loss. The question ultimately here is, to claim that capital loss, is there a certain period that you have to wait before you rebuy it? And do you have to rebuy it in the new year? And I think the answer is yes, but it's not a definitive answer for you, bud. Sorry, man. I'd love to be able to give you the answer that you want to hear, but I just don't know. All right, number 2. Hi, Brian. In your opinion, has the accumulation phase of crypto ended for this cycle? No way. Not even close. Keep in mind, there's usually a hangover following the halving event. So just think of the Bitcoin halving. You saw how Litecoin went through its halving event. And then following the halving event, there was a big sort of, okay, now what? So my thinking is what I don't like is when crypto rallies into the end of the year. That, believe it or not, like seeing this kind of movement higher here into November, December, this actually is saying to me, as a longtime market participant, that we're coming into some sort of local top here. And you might find that actually the whole market, like a name like this, I would not be surprised whatsoever that I could buy this thing back at $1.30 over the next 6-8 months. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. So for heaven's sakes, no, There is no, you have not missed this bull market by a long shot. If anything, we're just getting started. But the thing is you have to force yourself that you can't chase. If anything, you have to look at an asset like this and say, all right, it looks like long-term bases are coming in. Now I got to draw my reload zones. And if we get pullbacks against the bottom end of the range, I get another chance to reload. That's how this game works. So no, I don't think you've missed the bull by a long shot. There should be at least a half a dozen of these pullbacks over the next couple of years, and each one of them will be a buying opportunity. And then when we go into the fall of 2025, that's when the orgy starts. And it's the orgy that we actually have to, I mean, let me ask you this, who asked this question? Michael, do you hear guys going on Twitter that have like 10,000, 20,000 people on Twitter meets, and he just sits there and goes, fucking, look how big my dick is. Fucking, I'm the fucking boss. Fuck. Do you hear any of that kind of talk right now? No. That's the orgy. These kids have been made so stinking rich, they don't even understand how much money they're sitting on. And they go on talk shows in fucking tracksuits, and they buy politicians because they're sitting on so much fucking money, and yet they don't even know what the fucking world looks like in reality. They're living off in this dream world. When we get to that phase, that's when you know I got to take profits and get the hell out of here. And we're not even close to that right now. It would make for a great soundbite. The only problem is Brian's swearing so much he can't play it anywhere. But I mean, the funny thing is I'm not even making that shit up. That's exactly how it went. I mean, I actually like participated in these calls, and I'm going, this is insanity. I can't believe this. But that's the way people act at the top of these markets. It's nuts. So are we in that kind of market state right now? No. You remember that Barstool guy? What was that Barstool guy's name? Does anybody remember that Barstool guy? What the fuck was that guy's name? I mean, where is he?
Portnoy? Is that it?
Portney or something like that, right?
Portnoy, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, where the hell's that clown? And these guys, so when those people are talking about how easy it is to make money in this space, that's your warning. Okay, maybe the top isn't here today. Or German taxi cab drivers. Where's that guy? Anyway, okay, I'll leave it at that. Hopefully, Michael, you've been scolded there. We're not even close. Not even close. And if anything, Michael, you got to take when you're watching this later on, and really all of you level oneers, because you probably have never seen this before. We have to get to this part of this cycle. We're right now at this part of this cycle. This is the the rule is don't fight the Fed. But we're at this part of the cycle right now. And look at what the Fed's done to everybody. They've just destroyed everybody. That's like this. But notice, look what happens. The sun always rises. So, and I got a funny feeling that this cycle is going to look exactly like this. I wouldn't be surprised if the Fed actually does nothing here for like the next, maybe even like 6. In fact, actually, this would make perfect sense because I actually was doing this rant earlier and I got off on a tangent. But the Fed is not going to want to be perceived as influencing the election. So my hunch is they do one more interest rate increase here. Maybe it's December, maybe it's January, I don't know. And then they do absolutely nothing for like the next year. Inflation starts to come roaring back. Fucking probably all the socialists get reelected, part of the plan, penetrating your beautiful little anus and all that kind of fun stuff. And then mysteriously, inflation all comes roaring back, and oh, they've got to start worrying about the economy, and maybe something breaks. Maybe we might just have another sickness mysteriously pop up out of nowhere, which of course is just cover for, hey, we've got to do a massive government bailout, blah, 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 blah. And then they'll go and they'll start cutting rates. And this is when we go back into orgy mode. And it's at the very top of the orgy mode. Notice, look at the very top. Look at the date, right? 2021. That's when we have to be like, all right, we got to get the fuck out of here. And that should happen 2026. So over this window right here, this is we got to make enough money to buy our islands and get the fuck out. Because I tell you, and I long ranted about it earlier, this downturn over here, I think, is going to be biblical in size. It is going to literally change the entire course of our Western civilization. That's how bad that bad's going to be. And I wouldn't be surprised if a clown like me, actually, if I can't get out, I actually am going to be locked in a prison cell. It would not surprise me one bit. 666 ES. There you go. Eddie's made the call. All right. So I hope, Michael, I've spoke to your questions. And oh my God, there's going to be tons of buying opportunities down the road. Guaranteed. All right. I have a good coin for you to consider, BB, called Matter. 100 million total market cap. Okay, that's not great, but it's okay. But link below for help. This is from D Mac, who loves when I interrupt Sjord. I think that's what he said the other day. I think he even asked me, he said, Brian, can you please talk more? You don't talk enough. All right, Brian being stupid. Let's take a look at the whole history here. All right, well, you're coming in again. Do you think trade location? Do you think I might be interested in a name that looks something like this? Do you see how you better not fucking chase or you're going to get your head handed to you? And the interesting thing is you hear me talk about M's and W's and market structure. Look at the beautiful M that came up here that basically said, run for the hills, get the fuck out. So, just learn this stuff, people. Please, just learn this. So, zooming in on recent price action. Now, let's call a spade here, folks. If you are in grade 3 English class and the teacher told you, please go up to the chalkboard and draw out the letter W. Does that look like the English teacher would be really impressed with your calligraphy? Interestingly enough, look at this little price action right there. That actually does look like a kick-ass little W. So this looks like kind of like the trader's trade right down there. But following that, I don't know. I don't like it when coins look like this. I don't even like it when stocks look like this. Where are we? You say that was Matter? KuCoin. That's probably the best place to look at something like that. Yeah. If you're asking my opinion, this looks like a KuCoin pump. I wouldn't be surprised if some kids made some great money on that. You see how there's a whole bunch of trap bulls in here? So any kind of rally up into this area, obviously the trap bulls are going to want release. Are you coming in at the bottom end of the range? Sure looks like it to me. Are you coming in here and buying the bottom? No, I don't think so. Maybe, and that's a daily chart. Hey, let's look at a weekly chart. Little old ladies. Okay, I could see that. But I don't like the fact that it broke to new lows here. And this might actually even be something other than what you're asking about. Antimatter price chart. Okay, I think this is it. Antimatter. Yeah, I think this is it. So that's a V bottom. That's absolutely the best way I can look at that. And interestingly enough, even like a 3-bar fractal, it would actually have to trade above here to fire that 3-bar fractal. So I would suggest, and again, grade 3 English teachers, I mean, I suppose you're saying, well, Brian, that looks like a W to me on a clothesline basis. Okay, but if this thing's so great, I don't like when it does this. That to me says, there's your trading range. So, probably the thing to do here, if you want to sneak in off the bottom, yeah, what a surprise. Candle body lows or trade location. Yeah, DMAC, you've heard me say that a million times. 78.6, Brian's favorite fibs. So I'm thinking that this Harami bar in here, and I would actually call it a bull rammy. I wouldn't call this Harami, I'd call it a bull rammy. But I think sort of your latest buy signal, if you will, is off of that level right there. It's a momentum signal, and chung chung chung. That's from what does that say? 2.8. So if I saw 5.5, let's say 6 cents, then I should be ringing the register and taking some profits. So if I'm selling halves on doubles, what a surprise. It looks like the original. You can see there's the new low. There's a fractal buy there off of 2.57. What a surprise. 5.3, 5.4, 5.5 is where these guys took profits. So, no, this isn't something I'd be interested in. If anything, what I think, if somebody asked me, well, Brian, if you got to buy this thing, so what are you going to do? I would say, all right, please show me something like this. If I saw that, I'd be like, all right, I'm ready to buy. So show me that. All right, that's cool. Back down reload zones. This makes, remember, you heard me earlier talk about this. Adam and Eve bottom. Okay, I could work with that. But this right here, right now, there's no technical justification for me to get into this. Now, if you're going to do nanny nibble, little old lady, all right. I mean, maybe accumulate. You can see the base. Looks like they got a lot of people suckered into going long this thing through here. So it doesn't surprise me. Any kind of dead cat bounces into here just ran into a world of sellers. All these guys sleeping on the couch. These guys sleeping on the couch. These guys sleeping on the couch. So big pop up here. All of these guys got released, but now you got a whole bunch of new people sleeping on the couch. And you might find that this thing actually does this repeatedly. You might even say there's the top end of your trading range. And there was the old bottom of the range. The fact that they broke this here, that technically is not a good sign. It's kind of like how they broke it through here. And oh boy, you might have to go through a very long consolidation before you get enough ammunition to take another shot up top. So, nanny nibble, little old lady, you want to come in, just nibble away? Okay, fine. If you are buying and you get these pops, if you can somehow maybe work open orders to let half go on doubles, and of course, to establish those risk-free trades, totally awesome. Is this a technical buy? Hey, we're going straight up from here. The momentum looks awesome. No, I don't see that at all. All right, so what time is it? Oh shit, it's already 1 o'clock. Damn it. All right, so I got through that. Somebody just added a new one. You say, what are the other exit profit taking strategies aside from little old lady sell half on a double strategy? Are there any that are more aggressive and take advantage of market tops? Is there a 3 rules to enter a trade equivalent for exiting a trade? Let's circle back around. This could be actually a fairly lengthy conversation. So if anything, let's bold that. Chris, can you remind me in the Monday after party show? Let's have a session that is specifically about what are the different ways that you can build in your plan to take profits in these markets. I think that's a good idea.
This is a great question. I love this question, and I will definitely remind you tomorrow.
All right, and if anything, That's some incentive. Anybody that's watching this video, free. We do 30-day trial on the site. So you don't even have to pay to sign up. These are all my charts. Where's the website? Is that this one? Nope, that's a different one. Where is the website? Of course, I always have way too many tabs open. So you can sign up for a free trial. You want to come in and listen to that broadcast tomorrow. We'd love to have you on board. In fact, actually, we have a new person that just joined here. Told me, what do you think? How am I supposed to pronounce that? Hawkon? Was that good value today? Do you feel like you got some good value out of all that today? I think he was talking to us earlier. Maybe he's gone now. Anyway, we have constantly new people coming to the site. And if anything, that's a nice little tease that we will answer this question and sort of build out what is your profit-taking strategy heading up top in the after party tomorrow. So, all right, only thing left to do, and I can see you guys are already doing it, which is awesome. Everybody just say a nice little positive karmic wish for Liam and I, and really more importantly for Liam for this afternoon. And I've got to get off to my real job. So have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins the race. Remember what your number one job is. Don't take no win nickels. And the only thing left for Brian to say is bye for now.